Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. As you can see, the title of this video is True Atheists, and I first want to explain where the idea for this video came from. As some of you may or may not know, there's a course that you can take in Britain, and it's called the Alpha Course. It sprung up a few years back, I think, and it's basically a course that is designed to teach you about Christianity. There's about 10 weekly sessions, I think, and there's a sort of a general question for that session. Everyone talks about it and anything else that comes up. I'm actually planning to go on to one of these courses in January. I missed the courses that started last month in September, and the next ones I can see start in January. So hopefully I'll be going to them. The reason I want to go is because I don't really have anyone to talk to regarding this kind of thing in real time. I mean, I can talk to the camera and post videos on it, but I can't really talk to anyone in real time, on a person-to-person basis. So I think it will be a rather interesting experience, hopefully. Plus, I think it should make for some good videos as well after I come back and tell everyone, what happened and how it went. So look out for that. So anyway, I went onto the Alpha Course website to find out, where and when my local courses are going to be, and I noticed they had, I don't know, about 10 or 15 interviews with people after they had completed the course, only like a few minutes long. Just to say, what they got out of it and stuff like that. They were talking about the usual things that you can probably think of, how they feel better with God in their life after they did the course, blah blah blah, normal shit like that. I don't need to tell you that. But there was even someone on there that suffered some kind of traumatic event. I can't remember exactly. I think she lost someone close to her, this woman. And how she was saying how a belief in God helped her. But the thing is, this woman was just looking for something, even if it was irrational. She is going to latch onto the first thing she comes across, no matter how ridiculous it is. I mean, talk about taking advantage of a situation. You could have told her that everything is going to be okay because when she dies, she'll be with her, whoever it was who died, and they'll be taken care of by, an oiled George Clooney and Brad Pitt and lederhosen, and she would have believed it, the state that she was in, because as I'm sure a lot of you know, when you're scared like that, you become very suggestible, and you can be pretty much brainwashed into anything as long as someone tells you that everything is going to be okay. But anyway, I'm going on the tangent here. I noticed a few of them that said they were atheists on these interviews, and that kind of bugs me. As if that's any sort of persuasive argument to use. As if other atheists are going to say, "Oh wow, if some atheists can be persuaded, this means this is a great course, I must try it." Although, I think it's more for the ordinary person. If they see that someone who was an atheist is not an atheist anymore, then they think that, the person who is leading the course must have some sort of real evidence and proof of God's existence. Generally speaking, I think, nowadays, people are too quick to call themselves atheists. Maybe they just grew up in a non-religious household, or they've never really known religion, so they just consider themselves atheists. Now, I'm not saying you can't call yourself an atheist. I mean, do what you want. I just don't think that you can call yourself a true atheist, which is a term I don't like to use, but because it seems rather rude, but I can't really think of any other way to say it right now. This might be an unfair statement, but I don't think anyone who has put the research into researching religion and come out the other end as an atheist can ever be convinced by the current arguments used to convince people that there is a God. Just like if you studied evolution, you could never be convinced by creationist arguments because they come from a false premise. You would be able to look at the arguments that they've presented to you rationally and look back at the knowledge that you've gained and completely refute them, and the creationists wouldn't have a leg to stand on. Someone who has no knowledge of religion or has never really thought about it can be persuaded by the fraudulent claims and double talk of apologists because they've never really had to deal with these arguments before. They don't know how to refute them, and they could probably be guilted into anything, which is what Ray Comfort is well known for doing. Which is why I think atheists who have real knowledge of religion and arguments for and against it are true atheists. I still don't like using that term, and people who don't aren't. If anyone else can think of a better term to use, it'd be great, because I don't like that, because it makes me sound like an asshole, I think. Anyway, to assert something about yourself, you need to be able to defend what you believe, or not, as the case may be. And people who haven't really been exposed to religion and call themselves atheists won't, as they've never really seen the flip side of the coin. You know, it's not a perfect analogy, but you know, you wouldn't call yourself a doctor without the proper education and learning about medicine and diseases and, you know, symptoms and stuff like that. Without that knowledge, you could be led into thinking that all sorts of things have, you know, medicinal benefits, and you wouldn't be able to refute them. I guess you could talk about common sense and only accepting things that there is actual evidence for, but I don't think most people are smart enough for that. You know, this may seem that, like, I'm a closed-minded person, but I'm really not. I am a very open-minded person. You know, as I like to think anyway. You know, if you've got evidence that your beliefs are true, then bring it. You know, I'll listen. You know, I just haven't heard anything yet that hasn't been refuted so many times before, and sometimes it just gets annoying hearing the same arguments over and over again, which is why I think a lot of I don't know, atheists get rather impatient with the same sort of arguments, and they can be seen as rather rude. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I had to say. You know, comment, rate, favourite, blah 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 blah. Do whatever you want. Yeah, tell me what you think. I tried not to be. I don't want to be too rude, and I did say generally. So if I've got anything wrong, then, you know, I do not mind constructive criticism. I better leave it there. I'm rambling. So cheerio.